to the Piece by Piece Autism Podcast with your hosts, Angie and Christi. They've worked 25 years to help Alec get the most out of life. Let them tell you how they're doing it.
Welcome back to Piece by Piece. Today, we would like to give some background to Alec's early days and talk a bit about his younger years and his diagnosis and what those few beginning stages looked like. He's had in-home ABA programming since his severe autism diagnosis at 2.5. But Christi, would you like to tell us a bit about what happened, what you were seeing prior to his diagnosis, and how that kind of came to be?
Yes, he was my fourth child. So I'm going to tell you, the delivery was different. I had 4 cesareans had a cesarean with all 4 of my children. And when he was delivered, I held him. And he was just different than the other 3. Just
right from the beginning.
So like at the very beginning. But I didn't know what it could be because I didn't know anything about autism at the time. I think I had seen a trailer to Rain Man or something. I don't know. There was some sort of little introduction I'd had to it. But I didn't even see that movie. I don't know even when it came out. But we were living in Japan at the time of his birth. And I just thought, well, he's not really developing any language like a typical kid. He never said mama, dada, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I just thought it's because we live in Japan. It's because a lady helped me when I was with my other children. A lady helped me who is Filipino. And I thought, oh, she probably speaks Filipino to him. And he's hearing Japanese all over the place. And
less exposure to the English language. Makes sense.
So,
yeah.
Maybe he's going to start speaking Japanese all of a sudden. I don't know. But his English his language never developed ever. So he was diagnosed actually when he was exactly 2 years old. And it took me 6 months to get his ABA home program set up. So that's when he started that.
Well, I remember you telling me the story of when you had your first BCBA come to your house.
Yes.
And you did not know what to expect. You, of course, like you just mentioned, did not have very much exposure to even what autism was. But this story is awesome. So this BCBA comes in, asks what Alec is into, wants to know his reinforcers, and he's been a long time fan of Barney, the purple dinosaur.
We have the first picture of him sitting in this tiny Japanese chair when he was 6 months old. That's when I thought to take a picture of him sitting, just staring at that show.
Yeah.
So
Barney's been a fan fave. It still is at 27 years old. He still loves a good Barney episode.
Absolutely.
So this BCBA comes in, finds out what his reinforcer is, and takes hold of the remote and quickly gets Alec to have a seat. And when he sits and he is quiet, the show turns on. And when he gets up or he is loud, the show turns off. And that was an aha moment for you.
Yes. It blew my mind. It blew my mind because I thought, up to that point, I thought he's running our home. He's the boss.
Yeah.
We just wanted to make him happy. We did not know how to make him happy. We did not know how to get him to stop crying. He was like no other child I had ever experienced. And so just seeing him do that just opened my mind to the possibility, oh my goodness, this child can learn. He can learn something. And that was so exciting.
Yeah, I'm sure that gave...
Wait to see what he was going to do after
gave
that.
a world of hope.
Yeah. So we tried. After that, we were with that consultant for a couple of years. And then we had a friend go out ahead of us to California for a 7-week stay with Dr. Jim Partington. who was the co-creator of ABLES, if y'all are familiar with that assessment tool. He 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 had us out there for 7 weeks, and in that 7 weeks, I did his extensive parent training, and Alec was with consultants all day. And during that time, it was the first time we had really heard about verbal behavior specifically. So everything is just focused around with the verbal component being just the most important thing, which was a super big deal for him because he had no way to communicate up to that point.
Right.
And right when we showed up, Dr. Partington he taught him his first sign. During that period, he started doing sign language, and he taught him his first sign in 10 minutes.
Wow.
And it was eat, I think. I don't know. Could have been beads. It was something he was really motivated to get. But anyway, he taught him that. And I was just sitting there with, just my mind was blown again. And it was so exciting to see him learn. It's exciting to see other professionals interact with him. And so we tried all kinds of therapies. We, of course, did occupational therapy, we had great occupational therapists who worked with them. We had a speech therapist who worked with them for many, many years. We tried so many different speech therapists and different methods, trying to get him to say anything. And he did equine therapy, and that was really good for him. He did that for many, many years, and
Yeah,
still
he loves
goes
that.
back. And yeah, he's expressed an interest lately that he would like to get back to that. He was really scared of horses when he first started doing it. And this guy was giving up his land and his services to help people on the spectrum, and I think all kinds of disability children, to be able to learn to ride horses and have access to them. So he opened up his acreage to that and the horse stables, and he actually offered all this for free. And so Alex started on a horse-drawn carriage when he was 4. That was kind of cool.
That's
Because
so
that guy
cool.
would go out and just put this carriage on. It took forever. It felt like, and then he would ride on it for 10 minutes, and then that would be his lesson. And now you should see him. Angie, he's on an English saddle.
Yes.
He's sitting up straight. He has not perfect form, but he couldn't go to a horse show, but he has been to a horse show. He didn't love it, but he loves just being able to go out in the neighborhood and just ride with his teacher back in Dallas. So, yeah.
Looks better than I would look on a horse.
Well, and myself also. He's a great horseman. We went on to introduce the keyboard to Alec by way of Soma. I cannot pronounce her last name. She's at the Halo Clinic in Austin, Texas. She's
yes.
still around.
Yes.
Still doing her thing. She's incredible. She got him started on how to do the keyboard. And she started with those little torn pieces of paper that you've probably all heard about.
Torn pieces of paper, using the eraser point of a pencil into stencils, multiple stencils, pushing the pencil through. Yeah, very, very beginning
And whenever I look
stages.
back at that, I'm like, how did that ever happen?
Yeah.
Of course, I've got video of all of it.
Yeah,
I don't ever go back and look at it.
That was fascinating.
I don't have time, but I would love to do that sometime and remember what was that process like. I just remember going there thinking, this is so amazing. But that opened his world so much, and it was so cool.
Yeah, you've often described raising a nonverbal child to having a baby who hasn't developed language. And I have a 1-year-old who likes to scream as his way of communication. He has a few signs. We were working on things like that. And obviously my education and background allows me to have an upside there, I think. But it can be frustrating. It's frustrating for me sometimes, like, stop screaming at me.
Yeah.
Just use your sign. I know you know how to say this, but he doesn't have much verbal language at this point. So, that's kind of been how you've compared Alec's lack of verbal language over the years, right?
Yes, when I hear people complaining, "Oh, my child can't tell me what they want," and I'm like, Your kid is 1 or 2
Yeah,
or whatever. How about he's 27? You
right,
know, but he has a way to say that now. He has
right.
a way to express his needs and his wants, and that's just been such a gift because it's helped his behavior, of course,
Absolutely.
because his behavior. I mean, we've had struggles with his behavior throughout, just like any severe autism guy. He's had behaviors, and some of them early on were he was a hair puller. Angie and I have been blessed with little parts of our hair being missing for a
Uh,
while.
yeah.
We're growing it back with the B12 here.
Can
But
Nutrafol
yeah,
sponsor this podcast episode?
yeah, we need a sponsor from the B12. Anyway, just he was a headbanger. That was scary. He would just bash his head with his hand, or the worst time was when he did it on the floor.
Yeah.
When he was a little bitty kid, before he was diagnosed, he was playing in his diaper about 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, my other kids were in school. What was I doing? He was like Houdini. He
Hmm.
could get in there into his diaper. He could take it out and have it smeared before I could even blink. Like, I guess if I stood there and stared at him and did nothing else,
Yeah.
I might have been able to stop it. But yeah, that was so hard. He was a biter. He was slapping. He was hitting. Didn't matter if it was family, a caregiver, anybody. He
Right.
was, you know, he had elopement issues. That was extremely scary. And he doesn't have those anymore, I would say. I
Oh,
he just doesn't have them anymore. But it was such a scary time when he did have them. And he had a very limited diet. That was scary because at sometimes in his life, he looked so thin. It would make me so scared. And I would go to the doctor and we would go over his diet, which was so limited. But now, last night I was over at his house. He was having shrimp and rice. I was like, how did we get here?
yeah.
But we
How
love
did
it.
how did we go from corn dogs or
Yes, just chicken nuggets,
chicken
day and
nuggets?
night.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that was amazing.
I remember him being rigid about going to certain places in the car.
Yes,
He knew we were going on a certain route and you took a left instead of a right. You heard about it.
yes.
That was difficult.
And also, when we would get ready to leave our house, if we backed out of the garage and we started down the street, and I went, oh, darn, I forgot a water bottle.
Oh,
We didn't do
yes.
water bottles back then, but whatever I would have forgotten. I went back into the garage and he just started screaming. So then I got really good at not forgetting stuff until I learned that we had to, he was shaping my behavior.
Right,
He
right.
was making me not forgetful when I needed to. And I learned later as ABA became more and more incorporated into our life that no, I needed to teach him that sometimes we back out of the garage and we go, and sometimes we back out of the garage, but we go right back in.
Right.
And we did so much practice of that. And it was so good for him because he's so flexible now. In fact, we kind of still have a little PTSD because of it, because my son this week was in town and he said, oh no, we forgot something. Can we go back in and get it? And I said, he's not that same guy
Yeah.
anymore. He's so much more flexible. I mean, we've worked on this for literally decades.
Absolutely. Facing it head on, saying, okay, throw your
Yeah.
fit. This is what we're doing.
Yeah, this is
This
what we're doing.
exposure and practice is crucial.
It just made him so strong. So we're grateful for that. I've mentioned a few things that Angie has about Alec's early years, but rest assured, we have so much more to say about this. There's so many aspects of how his life has been played out so that he can be where he is today, which is in what we think is a really great place.
Yeah.
And so later episodes, we'll talk about how he dealt when he couldn't sleep by himself, and how we dealt with potty training, and how we dealt with getting his diet expanded, and how we dealt with elopement issues,
Yeah,
etc.
all these
So,
behaviors
yeah.
for sure.
So until then, that's Alec's early life,
Perfect.
and we love it.
We hope this has been helpful and informational. Like Christy said, we will definitely dive deeper into a lot of Alec's early years in the ways that he has been taught and the things that he has learned. But this gives you just a good idea of his early years, his diagnosis, and some of the behaviors that we saw.
Yeah, and hoping that it gives you some hope that if you're in that position, I would have never guessed that he would be where he
Yeah.
is today. Like at 3 or 4, I would have never. And so it's just nice to know, okay, we're not at the end of the story, but we're pretty far into the story now, and it's looking very promising now. It feels good where he is
Yes.
right now.
And with his current team, I feel like there's conversations we have with them where I go, oh, I forgot that was even an issue. Or,
I think.
oh, well, man, if you could look back 5, 10 years ago, this guy would not be so recognizable to who he is today. So
Yes.
there's so much hope in how these guys can learn and grow and evolve over the years. And so don't give up on what your outcome will be.
1,000%.
Thank you for joining us today. And don't forget to check us out on social media. If you want to contact us, send us a direct message on our Instagram or our Facebook page. You can find us at Piece by Piece. That's PIECE. Piece by Piece Autism Podcast. Until next time, talk to you later.
Bye.